so I'll do my best here. But I'm Noelle. I'm Randy's daughter. And I just, first of all, want to thank everyone so much for coming, for taking time out of your day to just spend a little time to honor my dad. We so appreciate it. My brother Todd. I told a lot of people that my dad was very specific. He did not want the service when he passed away. He said that for years. So I keep telling him this is not a service. This is a celebration of life. And he lived a life that deserves to be celebrated. So that's what we're here to do. I just want to tell you all a little bit about my dad. He was one of 13 children. He was a veteran of the Air Force. At one time, he was a radio announcer. He's a published author. He was a creative director in Omaha Steaks International for some years. And then in retirement, he found hospice work. It was work he was especially drawn to after experiencing the loss of his dear brother Stan to cancer. This place, Weetas, has meant so much to my dad. The way his face would light up with stories about patients and their families was just amazing. He was immensely proud of his golden spatula, that hangs in the kitchen. It's an honor he earned from his time in the kitchen because he would make breakfast for patients. I understand scrambled eggs are a specialty, so my dad. People would often ask my dad how he could do the work, the volunteer work that he was doing, working with the dying. Isn't that work hard? How do you do it? And he would confirm that yes, it broke his heart over and over. But he held it as a sacred honor, the work of accompanying people on their walks home. So as devastating as August 17th was for those who loved him, it wasn't lost on me the beauty of the fact that he was surrounded on that day by so many caring hands and hearts welcoming him home. As I mentioned, my dad was an author, and this is one of the books that he wrote. He wrote a poetry collection called The Ripening, and the subject matter is lifespan, from birth to death. So I'd like to read a poem of his, and then I'm gonna pass the mic. And in some distant winter of his life, he prayed it would be written. Here was a man at peace with his thoughts, a man of few words, who drew more truth from the gentle rains than from the words of other men. Here was a child of October, educated by November, a man who treasured the wisdom in the autumn silence. Here was a man of the fall, like the season, was mindful of his limitations, yet gave all he had to give, freely. Here was a man touched by every person, place, and thing he chanced to touch, and ripened by it all. Thank you again, everyone, for being here. I know my Aunt Julia has a poem that she would like
Yeah, I'm Julia. I'm number 7 of 13. And my sister Bernadette, who is number 8 of 13, I sent this to read for her. She could not be here today. And we both love the poet Mary Oliver, and this is by Mary. It's called About Angels and About Trees. Where do angels fly in the firmament? How many can dance on the head of a pin? Well, I don't care about that pin dance. What I know is that they rest sometimes in the top of the trees, and you can see them, or almost see them. Or anyway, think what a wonderful idea. I have lost, as you and others have possibly lost, a beloved one, and wonder where are they now? The trees, anyway, are miraculous, full of angels, ideas. Even empty, they are a good place to look. Put the heart at rest. All those leaves breathing the air, so peaceful and diligent, and certainly ready to be the resting place of strange, winged creatures that we in this world have lost. And all I have to say is, stealing from the great Irving Berlin, Randy's song is ended, but his melody goes on.
If anyone has anything they would like to say, any funny memories, just any words, you're welcome. This is a very casual, like I said, Dad, it's not a service, it's a celebration, so. What's that?
Are we having cherry pie? That was his favorite.
Oh, he did have a secret sweet tooth. He loved red velvet.
And
he
we have
liked
red velvet cupcakes made by Marcy, our social
yeah,
worker.
he liked
So we do have that. That was one of his favorites. Yes.
You know, Ross and Shannon, I want to thank you for sharing with us. You know, a lot of guys at his age could have easily just walked into the sunset and spent time with his family and many generations and looked back on his laurels, but he came with a heart for this work and a spirit for this work. Angels may hide in trees, but I think they hung out in this kitchen. And I think it's one of those. I have often said to people that you're an angel, and they say no, I'm not an angel. I said, but the problem is God doesn't tell angels they're angels, because then they would use their superpowers in the wrong ways. Instead, they become one with the human condition. He didn't write that poem, except that he was given some gift from on high to write something that luscious and meaningful across the. I'm getting up there in years. That poem spoke to me so resonantly. So if God doesn't tell you an angel, all you can do is just be who you are. And the Father for us was very angelic.
My name is Monica, and my husband and I are neighbors to Randy, and he was my parking buddy. He was to the left of me. And I started a journey a couple of years ago, and so in the winter I walk in the underground, much like Bonnie, and I would always see Randy coming from his car, going up maybe with a little bag of groceries or just coming back from work. And he always had a pleasant hello for me, and oh, you're at it again, and yeah, fighting the good fight here, and it was nice to hear some things about him other than just my little window to him, and we really appreciated him and his kindness. And what we know about him is that he was going through some things of his own, obviously, but he always had time to help a neighbor who was maybe in a worse place than he was, or even if they weren't. And I just really am here today. This isn't easy for me because we've all lost loved ones, but you know what? I wanted to be here to learn about him other than what I remember. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Thank you, all of you, for being here. I mean, again, this place is just so hugely meaningful.
Hello, I'm Bonnie. I was upstairs with him. It was a neighbor of mine also. Always so adorable. She would have been 97 at the end of January. She passed away on the 22nd. So but every time they'd see each other, he'd hug her and just make a big deal of it. And I'm kind of like, never too late. But it was so sweet to watch, and they just almost like meshed, like they were spirits. So I'm gonna miss that for sure. not only my mother, but him too. And I'd see her when your mother was alive, and she'd be getting in her car, and she'd be looking at him, he's walking back to the elevator, and she's going, this is it. With the knowledge I was watching. Because I was by my car, she didn't know I was there. But they were just so adorable to watch. And God forbid, it'd be nice to have something like that. You don't know what you have until you lose it.
I'm Becky. I'll try to get through it. I'm his niece. He was married to my aunt, some of which you guys took care of as well. He was so beautiful with words. And always thought I was so special. And he would tell me often in emails in our correspondence, and he really thought very highly of all of you. So
Your tears gave me courage.
I was just gonna say he was, famous for making our breakfast, but he was so much more. Just that volunteer position, just he grew it into something that I don't think anyone has ever done or ever will. So he just took on and helped us, right? Touch us all in a way. Everyone was so kind to everybody, and he knew all of us.
Yeah, he knew if we had a full house and there were only 2 people here on night shift, he'd come in extra early, sometimes 3 o'clock in the morning or 4 o'clock in the morning, to make sure everything was going smoothly and what he could do to help. And he'd stay until I usually started 10 o'clock, so he would cover before I got here and stuff. And he'd even stay longer if things were still a little rough around the edges yet, just to make sure that when he left, everything was going smooth and everybody was fed and the nurses got what they needed. And he was just so special. I really don't miss him.
Yeah, son Todd, in his later years, I selfishly wanted him to do well. So I had one to do well hard. See brother soccer games, it's like, no, I'm wrong for you. I think we had Cash was just sitting all alone in that apartment. But seeing all this, now I understand. You never would have been happy with the world here. And I get it. He used to say, I like being alone, but I'm not alone. And now I see. I'm just so grateful. He taught me a lot of compassion. He comes from a lot of compassion. His sister, his brother, it's not hard to see where he gets it. And we had a great home here. I'm grateful for that. Share a story of him because one of our great joys in life was making each other laugh. And then the last year, he shared a story with me. We went to Santa Maria del Popolo School in Mundelein, Illinois, and all of us. And he told me that when he was in 3rd grade, he had a nun that was very affectionate and very fuzzy. And she would keep him after school to clean blackboards. And she liked to hug him and squeeze him and teach him. And he would tell me these stories, and he would say, because he would wait for my response. And I said, well, I think what you're saying is that kids in their school, if they forgot their homework, they should never go back to school because they might catch a nun feeling a little lame. And that was humor. That is, I think, his humor. We were 13, now we are 6. But the 13 are always with us. And will always be 13. Randy will always be with me, and I just go. Well, I'll share one more thing. I haven't been sleeping much the last 10 days. Monday night I decided, even on 3 acres, I'd say, Ryan, I should go on top of it. Not really having my wits about me. At the end, I was going along the house, and I took one gutter off and went, oh no, and I kept going backwards and ran over the other one. And there were the last 2 gutters on the last one. And in my head, I heard Randy say, and I said, well, I guess the moral of this story is never ever mow in the evening when you're in warm. That's it. So keep talking to Randy, keep holding him close, and never forget that energy like his never dies.
I know I was astonished because everyone kept telling me that they were his favorite, and I thought I was his favorite. I mean, this guy has been, telling all of us that we were his favorite. Come on. Sorry, I just had to say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, I understand that some delicious cupcakes have been made.
Yes.
And yeah, so I can kind of hear my dad in my head saying, okay,
Wrap it up.
yeah,
Play up music.
moving on, yeah. So,
I just want to say, I'm really glad that he got to fly away home from here. Thank you. Thank you for this.
thank you.
It was huge.
Yeah, thank you. Yes,
Can
ma'am.
you tell us a little bit about the flag?
Oh, so my dad served in the Air Force, and because we are holding this, not a service, relatively quickly, we weren't able to get his everything in place in time for the full military honors. That will come later, but we wanted to have the flag here to represent his time, because I know that. To me, he talked about that time as a.
Which is the crazy segue. We honor all of our veterans here.
Oh.
And because we didn't get a chance to get it to him.
Yeah.
He left the world very too quickly. But here we salute his good service to our country, the United States Air Force. We're very grateful for it. Thank you. No, thank you for sharing that with us.
Thank you very much.
I'm gonna bring some coffee. Coffee.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Well, thank you all for being here today.
Yeah.
You might have had something.
Side by side. And then the first time. Long story short is things was
This is flavor.
we aren't even sure. It was a mix of steak,
So he enlisted